Right, welcome back to SummoNerds. I'm Evan.
And I'm Matt.
Today we've got an interesting one for you. We've got Maldaria versus Bolvi. So, two kind of summoners that are a little underappreciated sometimes, I think.
Yeah, I agree. And both, I think, can be really fun to play.
Yeah.
Both have really cool options. Maldaria with a hit and run, and Bolvi with a stay and hit.
Yeah, it's a really interesting matchup because Maldaria's got the ability to hit and run on those towers, but the towers have the reach to get around Maldaria's wall with her commons, with her Save the Queen stuff.
Mm-hmm.
The mortar and the turret upgrades in particular are pretty rough, and the Colossus can, of course, walk over some of those units with the low health. So it's an interesting matchup for sure.
Yeah, definitely, and a very exciting one. So Evan has first turn here. Fire Dancer moving up to hit my Oath Sworn.
I'm gonna get him.
Yeah, but you won't.
Oh, I won't though. Oh.
Hit him. Yeah, there we go.
I won't hit him.
I was gonna say you won't kill him, but like there's an archer right there, so if that had hit, he would have just killed him.
He would have been dead.
So that's
so my archers take a quick shot at a couple of his Oath
Yep.
Sworn, and that's how I have to end that. For now, I'm gonna take him back with Save the Queen. I have to figure out how I want to do that though. So yeah, it's fun to be able to see just kind of two odd summoners that I feel like probably don't get all that much play in the competitive scene. Just seeing them out and about and doing fun things.
And we haven't really played them in a while either.
No.
But I find both of them very fun to play as.
Yeah.
Bolvi I've only probably used like 2 or 3 times total in my life.
Yeah,
I really like him though.
Of our group, I definitely use Bolvi the most. I know Joe doesn't particularly like him, and yeah, Matt doesn't seem to use him all that much. So I tend to be the one who uses Bolvi if any of us does. And Maldaria is just kind of one that none of us play all that often, but I really like her. She's really fun. I've noticed in the past couple weeks that I tend towards the common heavy decks when there is the option to choose that. I just enjoy playing those a little more maybe, and I definitely think Maldaria is a slightly more common heavy deck with her ability and everything, so that appeals to me. She's got like a little bit almost of a Sam Farthen thing going on, just really different. Whoa.
Yeah.
Camera got all knocked around there for a second. Earthquake.
Yeah, good thing we saved the day there. But
mortar upgrade, turret upgrade. Oh, right in that first hand.
I have and big
Raldag, Ice Golem. That's a good and
Architect. Yeah, so I didn't really take Architects out. I feel like they have way too much synergy with this team, needing to heal those towers. Especially the ones you throw your upgrades on, you don't want those to go down. Ice Golems, obviously mobile. You can make them mobile turret, mobile mortars.
Yep.
Mobile turret gives it an extra attack die. It can be game winning if you have the summoner down low enough. They can function as assassins. Same with the mortar upgrade. Just shooting over things 3 spaces away can be big.
Yeah.
Or if not, just build them to magic. I got plenty of towers in here also.
Yep.
But Raldag, the idea is to keep him safe in the fortress behind the towers that are doing the attacking, giving them almost assured hits. We call those mooked dice. That's the term we use.
Yeah, because it's the same effect Mook has on his units. Here he's gonna tag.
Here I'm just gonna win. Oh, just joking. I'm killing that archer.
Yeah, those are killer for those archers. Those Oathsworn really hurt those archers if you get up to them like that.
And now that I don't have the same amount of dice on this Fireling, I have just 1, but I do hit it.
So it doesn't really matter.
It's dead all the same.
All right, and then he's gonna shoot at his own Oathsworn.
Yeah, with my tower. Look at that. He served his purpose. He gets to come back home.
Sure, he sees it differently. Shot in the back.
Doesn't matter how he sees it. Matters how Bolvi sees it.
That's true.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, you have those nice ice golems in the deck, and you said you didn't take out the architects because the architects really are just great.
Right.
When runesmiths come into the picture, I might see myself taking out an architect or 2, but I still think I want most of them in there.
Here's what's big bananas though.
Kaeseeall.
Kaeseeall already. That's not what I was gonna say.
Fire blast. Fire blast. Fire beast.
Is that a Vulpix? Jeez.
Wrath of the Volcano,
Yeah.
and Warrior, Fallen Phoenix Warrior.
So
Fallen Phoenix Warrior just has like some fun movement options with Maldaria. It's maybe slightly redundant with her ability, but it has it certainly could be used differently or to augment the ability. Maybe you move 3 units that turn back to Maldaria instead of 2, and you can't rely on that. So, but maybe you can put something in front of Maldaria if you're worried about her getting hit. You can put a couple units in front of her, stack them.
And I like Fire Beasts in this deck. For their health, they can run up and then come back and save Maldaria.
Yep.
With their tanky 3 health. They offer an option to do an automatic wound to something, maybe even denying themselves at the same time.
Yep.
So I think Fire Beasts are a great choice. They have some synergy with Release the Hounds. Obviously a very situational event, but could be at the right time, could be detrimental to the other player.
Release the Hound's real strength, I feel, lies in being able to summon next to Maldaria, wherever she is, because she can be right next to your opponent's summoner, or she can be deep in your side of the field where your walls can't reach, and so you can't summon something to block for her, but you can with Release the Hounds. It's one of those events you can potentially do something really great with that.
But and again, it's situational because Maldaria often just has all her spaces covered with how her ability works.
Yep.
So it's hard to be able to always have spaces open next to her without her being able to be attacked by your opponent.
Yep. It's hard to plan for the Release the Hounds.
Similar with the Conjure Phoenix's event also.
I struggle with that all the time.
Yeah.
But that's one of the fun things about figuring out how Maldaria works.
I agree.
Is trying to plan around those things.
Now, here is an interesting thing about the Fire Dancers, is that when you attack them and you roll a miss die, that's typically seen as a negative effect because the Fire Dancer is going to do a wound to what's attacking it. But the Fire Dancer is forced to find an open space next to whatever attacked it.
Yep, it has to be placed on that space. It's not an option.
So I'm looking in my hand at this point. I remember thinking clearly, I really want to force that Fire Dancer to come to my tower and open up a space in front of Maldaria. How am I going to get another way to attack that? Well, we saw I had the mortar and the turret, and I hadn't played this deck in a while, so for whatever reason, I thought the built special ability meant I could just summon off a tower, like with another tower. I just thought I could do that, but then I'm like, oh no, I can't. That's actually the event Expand is the only way I can do that. I knew it could be done, but I was thinking it was the ability, and Expand just made the cost 0, but Expand is what I need to actually do that. But if I had an Expand, my play was going to be Turret Mortar and attempt to get the Mortar to get the Fire Dancer out of the way, and then the Turret shoots at Maldaria twice. Yeah, is what I was trying to do. But instead, I was not able to do that, so I'm moving everybody up, and I'm going to, I believe, attempt to pick off my wounded unit here.
Yeah.
I just kind of moved everybody up for a little bit of positioning. I'm protecting my Architect, who's able to bounce back and forth between those 2 towers. I missed with the tower, and then I missed with my Oathsworn. So I did not kill my wounded unit. But look, I did get 2 wounds on that wall with my other assault tower. That's assault, brother.
Oh. No. Yeah. All right. So this puts me in a little bit of a weird position. I'm kind of away from my wall. He's got a bunch of strong units in the way. If I manage to kill his Oathsworn, I mean, I should be able to do that. Then I've got a tower in my way. Like Matt said, I can only use the Fire Dancer for cover so well because it has to move if it's attacked, if there's a space available. So, and I don't normally build. I think I probably what everyone might be wondering at this point is why is Kaeseeall in this deck? I don't normally build her into any Phoenix Elf deck, but she's got range, so something. So does Lalia or whatever. But I just thought it would be an interesting champ option for my kind of third champion, because with Maldaria, I typically like to put Rahlee in the deck. She's just so cheap, and with the Phoenixes can be very powerful. I've made that work really well in the past. So I think that's... obviously, Rahlee's not very good without the Phoenixes, and in other decks besides Maldaria, I've struggled to find use for her. But in Maldaria's, actually, I've definitely found some good use for her.
And if you try that combination, I think you'll be surprised how often it actually can work.
Yeah, how easily you can line that up.
And it's because Rahlee can move 3 spaces. There's a lot of options in how she moves to get next to the Phoenixes.
Yep.
And if you're playing a more aggressive Maldaria, you're in position to hit something normally. And if you have forward walls, it makes it easy for Rahlee to hit most things.
Absolutely.
And the Phoenixes obviously can move over other cards, I believe. Yeah, they can just fly over cards.
Yeah, so Rahlee is actually not that hard to set up, typically with a decent move. And her cost is low, so she allows you to play pretty comment heavy, which is nice. And then I think my last champion in this one was... It actually might have been Hollius. I didn't have the deck list in front. I should have looked at it before we started the recording, but it'll be in the description so you can check. But I liked having some low cost champs, and I always want Kabiros. I always want to use him. I have never yet had a game with him where he has come late enough in the deck that I can use him for his ability. He is always my first champ I draw. I don't know why.
Yeah, I mean, even then, I like his stats anyway.
Oh, he's a solid champion, but it's frustrating because it's like up here I'm moving the fire tree.
When I play Maldaria, I like to put in Karthos and a few fallen Phoenix units. I like the Harbingers. Just like typically, if a Harbinger kills something, like you don't want just a random Phoenix out there. Like in a lot of situations, that's just fodder for your enemies to kill. But there could be a situation that comes from a Harbinger killing something and then getting a Phoenix for maybe a final hit or to clog some space that they didn't expect to have clogged.
Yep.
So of fallen Phoenix units, you can go back and forth between them and the Warriors, I'd say. I guess even with Hellcar, you could include some fallen Phoenix cultists, but it's not really... Yeah.
I accidentally skipped over your hand. My bad.
But I prefer Karthos because of his synergy with the Passion of the Phoenixes. You summon, you reanimate one of your dead things, and all of a sudden they have 3 or 4 precise attack for that turn. So I like to include Karthos in here. So I'm kind of taking a defensive turn here, as Bolvi likes to do. But I have my towers going to shoot at that fire beast.
There we go. Yeah, sorry about that editing mishap, folks. I don't think I've ever done that before, but
the card I played, I believe, is Strength and Structures.
Strength and Structures is definitely what you played.
Yeah. So now, I wasn't viewing it as the most necessary card to play that turn, but I was viewing my hand as slightly clogged. And I was trying to almost guarantee that both my towers would survive this turn if he tried to attack them. So if he was going for the towers, he'd have to waste unlikely die on them, unlikely dice. So that was the goal there. And I'm continuing to beat on that wall with my tower, because
which is always
why
smart.
Not?
Yeah, it's always smart to attack your opponent's walls if you have the extra attacks. Over the course of the game, you can definitely whittle them down and smash them when your opponent's not able to defend them, and then losing walls is always a problem. So, and especially with Bolvi's Destabilize, that can be kind of devastating to lose walls when you're not expecting it.
Yep. Destabilize is very interesting because obviously hurts your own stuff too. You can heal your own stuff with Architects.
Yeah.
Fascinating. Destabilize will kill all your Golems too if they had upgrades on them.
If they have upgrades on them. Which, with Runesmiths, won't be a problem.
Yeah. If
they're destroyed from Destabilize, you just get those upgrades back.
In fact, that might be a reasonable play with Destabilize in particular. You
Kill
get
your
your
own
use
golems.
out of the Golem for a turn and get a Runesmith behind it so you can destabilize them.
Yep. Destabilize, you get
and then during that event phase,
play it on
plop
something
it
else.
on something else.
Yep.
Yeah, maybe often expand. Who knows? Lots of interesting combos.
Yeah, it's gonna be really cool when we have those units. So yeah, another thing I was gonna say was, so I'm a little out of position here with the fire dancers. I love that unit. I think the fire dancers are stellar, but I was realizing kind of in this game how difficult they can be to use as shields for Maldaria because of their forced movement if they get shot. So, I wanted to be a little bit aggressive against him because I didn't want him to get set up perfectly with an expand that just wrecked me.
So here's
in one turn.
Here's a move I was thinking of at the time when you made this. Was that if you had moved your archer behind your fire beast, right? Then you do fire beast kills itself, hits the tower for 1. Then the archer hits the tower because the fire beast is gone. Now it's at 2. Then it relies on the fire dancer to get an unlikely roll to kill it. But the fire dancer wasn't doing anything anyway other than attacking one of the towers. So that was a move I was considering at the time.
I wanted to move Maldaria into a different position, and that's the only reason I didn't choose that. I wanted to get her up a little farther so that I could get out of the way of that tower, and so that I could get closer to Bolvi and maybe get Bolvi to rush into something he wasn't expecting. Another thing about the Harbingers in this deck, if you put Harbingers in the deck, they if you manage to get out even one Phoenix, it makes one of your events the Phoenix.
Conjure Phoenixes.
Conjure Phoenixes, thank you.
You don't.
Yeah, you can only. I mean, if you play that, you only get one Phoenix out of it. If you only have 5 left in your little pile, because you can't create more Phoenixes than you have in your conjuration pile.
Right.
So, if you get out a Harbinger and you manage to get out 1 Phoenix or 2 Phoenixes, it kind of means you have a free event to build to Magic, which doesn't sound super exciting, but is kind of nice to not feel like you have to play your events, and to know an event is useless. It's kind of like when red gets hit sometime during the game, at least one of your force summons is going into Magic, and there's some like peace to that, I feel, in being able to throw away an event and not worry about it.
Yeah.
And so I've got my Fire Dancer set up here so that it would be really hard for you to get beside it quickly,
right?
And still have range from the front.
Yeah.
You'd have to go maybe Colossus upgrade plus an expand plus some other upgrade to make that all worth it.
Right. No, in tandem to what you were saying about the Harbingers and the Phoenix, another interesting play with Rallee maybe that we were talking about earlier. Maybe Rallee could run up, and then next to a spot that the Harbinger could maybe get a Phoenix off of. And maybe Rallee also is in position to hit something that turn. So maybe she'll roll 1 die or she'll roll 3 dice. Depending on how the Harbinger does with his roll.
Well, and what's cool about having Rahlee is that people, I think, complain. I've seen people complain on the forums occasionally about how she dies too quickly. But typically, you only want her for 1 or 2 turns. She's an assassination move. She's not a heavy hitting champ. You have other champs for that. You can put in the Fire Drake or the or Kabiros or something. I mean, you can put in anyone for that.
But
she's an excellent assassination champion.
And not just that. Like if your opponent's summoner, I mean, it still relates to the assassination play. But if your opponent's summoner is getting too wild, like up in your space,
fly behind
you can fly behind them, and now they're boxed in for a turn, and maybe that's all you need.
Like right in here, what you're about to move Bolvi, and if I had a wall in a different position and had the magic for Rahlee, then you wouldn't have moved where you did. But it's very possible that you'll find yourself in a position where here comes Bolvi charging up the middle, up the side, I guess.
Now here's a move that definitely is risky with Bolvi, and the reason I'm doing it,
called a calculated risk,
is the reason I'm moving him there is because I didn't feel comfortable with the hand I had to make like a great other move. So if I can force something to happen on Evan's turn, I can keep like a reasonable economic lead is my mentality. So if I force plays on Bolvi this turn, I could just lose because it could be literally an archer gets summoned
and then 2 Spirit or Passion of the Phoenixes. And then I win.
An archer gets summoned 2 passions, and I lose because all he has to do is move the archer in range and move Maldaria and the dancer out of the way.
Or an archer and 1 Passion of the Phoenix, and Maldaria rolls all 4, which is unlikely, but very possible. These options exist, so he's being a little risky with Bolvi. but I think he's just hoping I don't have the right hand. The reason that's especially risky, though, is because there are very few events in the game I will really not consider discarding. Passion to the Phoenix might be the top of the list of the events I won't discard.
Passion to the Phoenix, I would absolutely not discard either. I'm really just...
I discard a champion before I discard that.
I probably would, too. I'm just gambling that you don't have it, because it is unlikely that you don't have both.
Yes. I might be able to have one here, but having both might be a little unlikely.
And if I get Maldaria in the mix, I'm confident with my hand that the game is just going to be over, if that's the case.
So and I kind of know that too. I know I'm a little bit out of position here. So if he draws Maldaria in, I've probably had it. That's probably it for Maldaria. So I'm really tempted to, because Maldaria's big 4 attack is really tempting to just run up and whack Bolvi for everything I want. And I could hit from the side with a Fire Dancer. So at the very minimum, I could have 5 dice on Bolvi this turn, and that's pretty cool. And doing that would be cool in another way, because he couldn't expand off of the tower there. So up here we go, Kaeseeall, Wrath of the Volcano. I've been wanting to Wrath something this whole game, but the reason Conjure Phoenixes, Wall, Fire Archer. So I have the Fire Archer, just neither of the Passions.
Neither of the Passions, so that's good.
Yeah. So what I wanted to do all the game was to Wrath the Volcano, a tower in particular. But the problem with that is I just needed an upgrade to go down to make it really worth it.
Because you'll get 2 magic out of it.
And instantly being able to destroy anything
with an
anywhere on the board
it.
with an upgrade, that's just great. So I do have, here we go, Fire Archer. Matt's wetting his pants a little. And he actually, if I remember correctly...
No, I'm not even yet, because I'm like... I was not even considering at the time that Archer in the back being of use. I was like, okay, 1 Archer, 2 Passions, and Maldaria give him the odds to win. That was my biggest fear, is that double Passion and Maldaria attacking.
1 Archer and 2 Passions guarantees me the game.
Yeah, so I was just making a mistake in the thought process a little bit. Because I was basically counting on losing anyway if 2 Passions came out.
Yeah.
So I made the move assuming I would probably lose if both were played, but I thought it was a good move considering it was pretty early in the game for something like that.
Yeah. So I'm going to go here. I'm going to block off Maldaria the best I can. I've got a nice wall there in the way, keeping anything from coming up unexpectedly. It's a nice forward wall, too, so I can chase down Bolvi if he tries to run away. I can summon another Fire Archer potentially and chase him down next turn. I just go ahead and I put 2 wounds right on him with the Fire Archers. So he's within a closer range. Again, Rahlee can chase him down from that position potentially. Kind of depends on where he moves everything. But I've got myself an all right position, and then I'm going to take back my Fire Archer. Get it out of harm's way. There's no reason to lose a Fire Archer.
Yep.
So we'll see where we go here.
Yeah.
Because I'm feeling like I moved Maldaria up. I got Bolvi to come out. I got 2 hits on him for free, and then I got Maldaria away fairly safely.
Yeah, I'd say that's a reasonable move considering you didn't have a Passion of the Phoenix or anything. So.
And I am worried about all of the upgrades. This whole game, that was terrifying me. I realized that Maldaria protects herself from straight line attacks, but the turret upgrade is just a direct counter to Save the Queen. So you have to just be planning for that. You have to move in... you have to move around in such a way that you can't be attacked diagonally from a tower summon that turn. So he's got
expand, assault tower. That's not a pepper tower. That's a salt tower. No.
Mortar and turret.
So I have two upgrades. Am I right?
He has the 4 cards he needs to pull off some kind of uber move on me, and then Grundor's Tower, which is just a nice champ to have in this deck. I don't really see any reason to ever build that out of this deck.
What, Grundor's Tower?
Yeah,
I love
good.
Yeah, Grundor's Tower is a absolutely beast in this deck. Considering Architects can just heal him.
Yeah, I know, and it can be upgraded, and it's got amazing stats for its cost.
Now this is a cool move right here. So this is the move I was telling you about earlier that I wanted to make. So what I do, I slap the mortar upgrade on that back tower.
Yep.
That gives me that gives me range on the Fire Dancer. I'm reading the Fire Dancer to make sure, even if I miss, that it's forced to move next to that tower in some way.
And turret under that one.
Turret under that one. So no matter what I do,
gets 4 dice on Maldaria.
I'm going to get 4 swings at Maldaria with that turret upgrade.
That's a great move.
Yeah. So that's I'm really proud of that because it relies on the Fire Dancer's ability to be successful.
See, if I'd run up with the Fire Dancer and put it in where Grundor, or not Grundor, where that new assault tower went, and run up with Maldaria even, he still could have got a bajillion dice on me just with the turret upgrade. Or the mortar upgrade and Bolvi. But I might have actually been in a better position if I'd moved that Fire Dancer up as opposed to where I left her. And actually where I left her could be potentially the worst position in some ways, because if he hits with the mortar both dice and it dies...
Yeah, that's the other thing, is if I kill it, then it wounds Maldaria. That's just how the mortar rolls.
So if he happens to hit 2 for 2 here, that's big.
So I'm definitely hoping for 2 for 2.
Yeah.
Because then... If that's the case, then I have the 4 for 3 odds all of a sudden to win, 60% chance.
And so I'm thinking if I live through this, then I've got maybe Rahlee next turn, I hope. Oh, we got both.
So I did get both. That's nice. So now,
Maldaria.
So I get the wound. Now I'm really hoping this turret comes through here, because I do not want to get Wrath of the Volcanoed on one of my big upgrades.
So I'm thinking to myself here, if I get Rahlee next turn,
I'm gonna pay that magic.
And 2 Passion of the Phoenix, which is a little bit of unlikely, I understand, but like I can run up. That's game. That's right there. But I can run up with the Fire Archer, and with Rahlee fly over both those assault towers. I get 3 instant hits with the Fire Archer, and then I just roll 1 for 1 on Bolvi for game. Is like a potential next move. Mm-hmm. This is a really cool matchup because both summoners are always at a really, really they're very close to death always. Mm-hmm. Maldaria can just insta-kill things, and Bolvi has just such range through Maldaria's wall of commons.
Yep.
It's really fun, though. It's a really dangerous feeling the whole time. You're always tense.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and I had those 2 super upgrades in my first hand. I was just waiting for the opportunity to play them with that expand.
Yeah, keeping those nicely. I just didn't get those passions yet. They were pretty deep in the deck.
Mm-hmm. So that's I'm very proud of that. Very proud of that Bolvi use there.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Yes.
I love seeing the danger of Bolvi. He definitely has moments where he is really scary.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I like Fire Beast in the deck. Kaeseeall, I don't know if I really want her in this deck. She actually has some kind of interesting thing with Bolvi, some kind of interactions with Bolvi where his towers can't move out of the way for you to be able to take them over.
Yeah, so she's always going to have until she dies, she'd have her opportunity to take control of them.
That's everything today, folks. So thanks for watching.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, until next time.
SummoNerds out.
SummoNerds out.